As a project lead on the Left 4 Dead series, we learned a lot, but you kind of always have to revisit those things. Because as we're making the Anacrusis and we're talking about difficulty, one of the things to realize is Left 4 Dead's an easier game today than it was when we first released it, even though we've changed nothing about it. When we first took it to QuakeCon and people were playing it, nobody got through the first map of No Mercy. Now they were playing 2 people. We were playing the zombie side. There's only 2 of us, so they didn't even get like 4 people. You never got like the tank. Like we held back, and nobody got to the end of the first map. By the second day, I think somebody had done it, kind of thing, and they had waited in line for 3 hours to play. People would wait in 3 hours to play. There was a guy who made his girlfriend wait with him, and then she didn't let her play. This is Texas, right? Like, oh my God, it was so strange. But like, it was crazy, right? But it was so hard of a game because nobody stuck together. Everybody was screaming and yelling, and like, it was chaos, right? Now, over time, we learn how to play these games. Oh, you have to stick together. You can't run off on your own. So some of the things that we do has to be different, right? So like the smoker in Left 4 Dead was super disastrous with its short tongue in a pull, where our grabber has to have a longer tentacles to be able to pull you from a greater distance because players know how to deal with that smoker. So we have to create something different, but we still want to have that thing, right? We want to have the enemy that just pulls you out. And so it's a thing of like, I know all of these testings. We did so much play testing, so much observed play testing for Left 4 Dead 1 and 2, where I've gotten to see this again and again, where you would watch, and now how we watched in Left 4 Dead 2 was already different from Left 4 Dead 1, and how we watched from Anacrusis. Like, you can't just rely on testing from 10 years ago and go, yay! Instead, you have to like test every single time, every single change, because sometimes there's a lot of rain down effects that'll have a lot of impact, or you'll create weird incentives for players, and you always have to be watching out for that. And so that's why we do playtests all the time. We're going to do playtests today, this afternoon. We're actually more testing the network backend, and we're not in the gameplay changes again yet, but we will be soon. And then probably later tonight, we're going to test a bunch of the community maps, because with all of our changes I've made and all of our backend stuff, we want to make sure that all the community maps still work in Versus and really well. And yeah, we can test those on our own. We can test those on our team, or actually a lot of times the community tests them, but it's really good to get 8 people in there, all testing on the new backend and everything. So far it's been really good. We are probably going to move over to the backend later this week is the theory, and then that's going to break a bunch of stuff, but hey, we're early access. We all know it's coming back in. It's just going to be broken for a little bit, but we just need to get off the old backend and get everybody really using the new one. So good times, but yeah, difficulty, man. It's a weird thing. I wonder like the Dark Souls games, if like, oh, those are easy games now. I mean, I grew up on super hard games, the Commodore 64 and Amiga era. Like no one ever saw map 2 of half those games. But yeah, this is just difficulty in a different way. So it's always something to think about.